Folks, are you tired of people telling you your band is too loud when you're just trying to practice in your house or garage? Well, if you live in Austin, Texas, I have the solution for you. That's Space Rehearsal and Recording. Space is a state-of-the-art affordable venue for rehearsal and recording located just a few short miles south of downtown Austin. They have 31 spacious rooms, great PAs, and plenty of parking. And let me tell you something, that during this pandemic, they've taken some extreme safety measures. You bring your own microphones. There's a door to go in and a door to go out. There's safety practice. You don't linger in the hallways, all that stuff. Rent a room from them by calling them at 512-448-9518. That's 512-448-9518. Or go to spaceatx.com and start playing as loud as you want at Space Rehearsal and Recording. Let's get down. Gang, we all know Spotify is the best and most popular music streaming app. They have millions of songs by millions of artists available at your fingertips. But did you know that aside from millions of songs, Spotify also has thousands of podcasts? Yeah, all of your favorites are there, including Fresh Air, the Michelle Obama podcast, The Truth About Pam, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. They even have original podcasts like Stay Free, The Story of the Clash. It's actually narrated by Chuck D from Public Enemy. That's right. And How Did I Get Here is also on Spotify. So just go to Spotify.com or download the app from your app store. And don't forget to follow How Did I Get Here? That's Spotify. Millions of songs, thousands of podcasts. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here are your hosts,
All right. Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys are all having a good week. It's a crazy week out there, man. Today's D-Day, man. Today's the day that everything lifts. So I hope you guys are all being safe out there. I hope you're being thoughtful, mindful of others, keeping the distance. Oh, God, man. I don't want to get screamed at for wearing a mask like when I go to H-E-B. When I went to Galveston for the month of December, you know, Galveston's a lot different than the rest of I think, the United States. But Galveston's a lot different than the rest of Texas in that it is like an outlaw scene down there. And I would go to the grocery store on behalf of the family, pick up the stuff that we needed every once in a while. And 3 separate times I saw people being thrown out of grocery stores for not wearing masks, and they were not having it. None of the 3 of them. One guy was fighting in the parking lot with a lady. Another one was a security guard trying to take a guy out of Randall's, and the guy was like freaking out. It was so, yeah. Anyway, so this is what I hope we don't encounter. So everybody be mindful, be thoughtful, try and be cool, keep a cool head. If someone comes at you for wearing a mask, I don't know what to say. Because the law is in their hands now, the no mask people. You know? The law is in their hands. All I can say is be careful, all right? Everyone out there, stay safe and be careful. Gang, I have a great show for you guys today. Rock and roll band The Deadcoats are here. That's right, they have a brand new single out called Forsake My Name. It's available now on Descent Records. And that single is from an album called Big Wish, which is coming out on March 27th. It's produced by my dear friend Frenchie Smith. I have a great conversation with these guys. They came down here from the Northeast to kind of like find their tribe musically and find a place where they can figure out their musical thing. And so that's what they did. They moved here. They put out a couple of records, TTDDCC in 2018 and the album Nice in 2019. And now Forsake My Name, the single is available now. And now Big Wish will be coming out. You can find them at thedeadcoats.bandcamp.com. Links to all their socials there. It was great talking to them, man. What a fantastic band. I got to go by the Bubble one day, and they were there recording. And while they were outside, I walked inside to get something. I think I was getting a keyboard or something from there. And I walked through the control room and stopped and listened for a minute. And I was like, wow, this band fucking rocks. So I have a great conversation with the Deadcoats. Please enjoy it. Let's get down. you sound so rock and roll, you know, compared to what, you know what I mean? And you're young people, right? You're relatively young, aren't you?
We're 24.
But I feel 93 sometimes, especially with my knees.
So when you were coming up in your youth, which was let's say this podcast has been going on for almost 10 years. So let's go back to when you guys were like 14. What were you listening to? What was the jam?
At 14, I kind of actually just started like really getting into music and listening to it. I would thank my mom for that. I really, really got into Kasabian. I like Kasabian a lot. I like the Gorillaz a lot. Muse every once in a while. Kind of hit like a grunge phase. So it was like a lot of Nirvana, a lot of Pearl Jam, especially a lot of, God damn, I can't think of the name of it. Oh my God. I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you. But there's been like a disappearance of like electric guitar over the last, decade. And you guys, Joshua, you have no problem slinging that thing around. That sounded creepy as shit. I'm sorry.
Nah.
What about you, Lauren? 10 years ago, you're 14 years old. What are you listening to? What's going on with you?
I was probably still in my Beatles form of development at that point. I was into the Beatles like from like 8 till like probably like 14, and then I found like Nirvana and like Joan Jett, and definitely like I feel like Hole too, because I didn't have a female role models. Like, I listened to Guns N' Roses, whatever classic rock my dad listened to. But yeah, I mean, a lot of different bands though.
Yeah. So when did you, when did this become the thing? Like, when did music become the thing for you?
When I was a kid, I loved the Beatles, and I was like, if they can do it, why can't I? So I kind of was like obsessed with making a band since I was like 10. And it never worked out. I just started writing poetry, and then me and Josh met in school when I moved to Baltimore. Well, back to public school. And
wait, so you guys are from Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I hissed at Josh, and that's how we met each other.
You what?
I hissed at him. I just turned around in an auditorium and just hissed at him like a weirdo.
Yeah, it's just really weird, dude. It's kind of very life-changing experience. If I could go back in time and make sure I never met her, I would do it. I would do it.
We actually formed the band at Josh's birthday party. Well, were you 15?
Yeah, I just turned 15. So, like, I played violin, and I went in electric violin for Christmas. And my mom was like, I'm not going to get you an electric violin. How about a guitar? And I was kind of actually pissed. Didn't want a guitar. Wanted an electric violin. And so she gets me a guitar. And as soon as I played it, it was like a really weird experience. It was like warmth. I was like, dude, this is my instrument. I was like, man, fuck violin. I hate it now. And so I started playing for a little bit, and our buddy Aaron's like, let's start a band. And I was like, I don't know if I want to start a band. And then he just like kept bugging me. And so for my birthday, I was like, why don't we all just come to my house, bring our instruments, and we'll jam. And we did. There was like 8 people. We had 3 of my buddies bring their guitars. Then I had my buddy bring his drum kit. Lauren brought her bass. And the rest is history. So we started off with like 6 or 7 people in the band, and then just like gradually weaned ourselves into a bassist, Lauren singing, me playing guitar, and various drummers. We had one drummer at the time. Oh yeah, and action guitars. My bad. It's been so long. It's like what, 6? Oh my god, more than 6 years. It's like 9 years ago. That's really disturbing to think about. That was 9 years ago.
Okay, so So did you guys start out writing songs, or were you covering stuff, or what were you covering if you were covering stuff? And
The White Stripes. We covered a lot of White Stripes. We could have been a Nirvana cover band by the amount of covers we learned. We actually did a couple Jimi Hendrix covers too.
Okay. That's actually how I learned how to play guitar, is just by going on YouTube and looking up how to play Jimi Hendrix songs.
that's pretty awesome, man.
And then, thank you. And then,
Well, I feel like a year in, like by our second battle of the band, or
it was our
the first
second performance.
our second performance, we had made all of our own songs.
Yeah.
So we didn't stick with covering very long.
And what? Sorry, go ahead.
We had like made originals like throughout the time, but it was just like we had originals that we'd play, and then we also had like solid covers that we'd always do. We'd always do "Sunshine of Your Love." That was always an easy one. "Blitzkrieg Bop,"
Yeah.
and like various other kind of like punk rock, like punk/blues music, kind of like White Stripes that she was talking about, or a little bit of Black Keys, which people wouldn't really consider like punk/blues, but
Right.
they're a little bit.
That's interesting because you guys came up at a time where there weren't these gigantic walls in between genres of music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when guys like Frenchie and I were kids, like there were some guys I didn't tell I'd listen to Hall & Oates because they would beat my ass at school. You know? But it's interesting to come up like "Sunshine of Your Love." Like if you tried to play that in a punk rock band in like 1983, you'd get your ass kicked. Like, you know, they were really against that sort of like big rock. But it's interesting to have like a time when music, to me, it's better, you know, that music not have any walls,
Yeah, I agree.
you know? Okay, so
What do you think
sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, what do you think broke kind of like that barrier?
I don't know because I can't remember when the name radio stations started happening. There was some time in the 2000s. There was all of a sudden there was Bob Radio and Jack Radio, and they had these names.
Oh, yeah, Jack FM.
And they'll play like AC/DC and then Whitney Houston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, it wasn't that changed it, but I think that was part of just the shift because kids like you guys, your parents might have been like into a certain kind of music. Like you certainly didn't listen to Hall & Oates if you wore a Metallica, jean vest in 1987 or something before the Black Album came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you would have secretly liked those songs. So as you get older and you have kids and stuff, you're like, shit, man, let's throw on some Hall & Oates. So kids kind of grow up with like everything, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening. I'm just an old guy in my apartment talking to you guys, trying to get some answers. So Baltimore, man, did anyone ever take you to like the 930 Club to see a band in DC or something?
Hell yeah. My mom. 930 Club is probably by far my favorite venue of all time. I've seen quite a few bands there. My first band again I saw there was Kasabian, and I was just like blown away by like the venue. And then like you get into the music scene and you meet people who've like toured, and they're like, dude, 930 Club's so kick ass to play. They're like, they got a wash machine, you could stay there.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, holy shit, I love 930 Club even more.
That was my first mosh, like for sure. I was like, oh fuck yeah! I like went into it. Josh was like, I'm chill and listen to the music.
Oh yeah, that was Fiddler.
Yeah, Fiddler. And I was like, this is where we're gonna play one day, Josh. We have to, you know. But
So the dream took hold. You guys had the dream. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to take over something. You know, Baltimore, fucking America, the world, whatever it is. You had that thing. And so, did you play there before you left or?
No.
we have to pilgrimage back.
Yeah.
And then play it and like sell it out just to like feel good about ourselves, you know.
So like a lot venues you can't just like play shows at. Like if you're gonna play a show in a venue downtown or like just about anywhere in Baltimore that is a venue, you're gonna have to sell a shitload of tickets before they even consider like having your band play or you even getting paid. Like one of the only places that will kind of like have local acts play is what is
Auto Bar.
Auto Bar, that's it. And even Auto Bar, they're like, hey, try to sell as many tickets as possible. It's not like Round in Austin where it's like you have the show and people show up and you don't have to like guarantee the place like how many people are going to show up.
Right. Is it the Warner Theater in DC?
No idea.
I don't know.
No idea.
What's up?
Hopefully. I mean, any more places with the last name Warner, you know, I dig.
Oh yeah, that is your name. I think that the last time I played there, it was there. If that's a place. I remember staying in Baltimore with Einar. Einar and I were in a band like 21 years ago. And I remember you know what, I don't remember. But I do remember that we stayed in Baltimore and Baltimore was intimidating to me.
It can be a very intimidating place, honestly. The people have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess that's why they call it the Charm City. You go anywhere, it's like, oh, someone just got murdered, and here's a comedy act going on the street corner. So it's kind of like, you got both spectrums going on at one point. So it's kind of like you got to make fun of it, and you got to be mean to people. That's Baltimore.
What kind of world were you guys growing up in? Like, what kind of like were you at a rough high school? Did you live in a rough neighborhood, or did you live in like a?
We're like, so we technically were on the Anne Arundel side, like our school, but we were the poorest school in Anne Arundel County, like the demographically.
Yeah.
So, you know, like there was a lot of different types of people there. Like it was also a STEM school. So we had like the rich kids that all had, you know, special after school teachers and stuff when they grew up. And then, you know, the hood kids and, you know, everybody's like big mishmash. You know, we showed up to like Battle of the Bands and we're like these.
Yeah, the poorest fucking kids that went to the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah,
it's like all these kids are like trust fund kids. All of them had like daddy's equipment with like $1,000 guitars. You go out there, you see every kid holding a PRS, and I'm just holding my Squire and one fucking pedal. And it's like they're like, you can bring your own equipment. And it's like, oh man, I guess I don't have a full stack, and they're not going to let me bring my guitar head, which I had, but they wouldn't let us bring it. You just had to use all their equipment, but bring your own guitars and pedals. But me and Lauren also grew up in like different parts of like Baltimore, so it wasn't just like we came from the same area. Like I grew up in the heart of the Baltimore. It was sort of like the heart of the Baltimore ghetto. I grew up in Brooklyn, Baltimore, so it's like I was surrounded by some of the most poor people I've ever seen in my life. Living like next door, people getting murdered around the corner, like entire areas being like destroyed by drugs and like gang violence. And then she's also seen some of that stuff like growing up. She grew up in a trailer. I remember, sorry, the cat sprayed on her leg. Growing up in a trailer in really bad conditions and stuff like that. So we both were not born into money or like the privilege like people in the county grew up in.
To me, that adds so much. I know this sounds terrible to say, but to me, like getting out of that comes through in your music, and having lived in it, and that sort of like, I don't want to say aggression, because there isn't like a punk rock up, but there is like a fucking balls out, like fuck you, bitches, here we come, like vibe to your music, which I'm blown away by. And I know Frenchie and Einar and I all being friends. Like, I don't know if you know, but like I've been friends with Einar since 1988 and Einar since 1989 and Frenchie since 1991. So for like 30 years, like we've all known each other and we all kind of have the same things that, you know, there's like something that we all gravitate towards, and that's like a balls out fucking rock band.
I I think we're all underdogs, like coming from backgrounds like you weren't supposed to do anything with your life.
Yeah.
You live and die here. And here we are, like, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and
the same can be said about like Faith and Joe. Like Joe had a more rough upbringing as well, just like us. And like the community that he belonged to were not like privileged kids either. So he did not grow up with like the socioeconomic like ability to have a lot of this stuff. Like if you were to go to like a county battle of bands or like play with kids whose parents could buy them into the industry and stuff like that. And Faith, she's always struggled with people telling her like what she can and can't do. I mean, she's a smaller girl, so it's like she always gets this flack from dudes whenever we play, like, oh, I didn't know a girl could play drums that hard and shit like that. And they don't think it's like an insult. They think it's a compliment when they say shit to her like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
I feel like you have all of these individuals and coming from different backgrounds, but also people continuously telling you that you can't do certain things or you need to get out and do certain things. So it's kind of like, I guess maybe that's where the aggression kind of comes from.
Yeah, it's like the same fire as the Sex Pistols. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That thing about the people complimenting that the whole females in rock and roll thing is such a fucking hard bridge to cross. There are people that are pioneers like Joan Jett. But think about how long after Chuck Berry, Joan Jett was around. You know what I mean? Like, that was a long fucking time, man. And still, to this day, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I was like, you ever notice nobody ever says male drummer or male guitar player? Ever? Nobody goes, hey, Joshua, man, he's this awesome male guitar player. There's the thing when she's probably walking into the club where they go like, oh, are you bringing in your boyfriend's drums and stupid shit like that happens?
Yeah, I've even shown up for like a gig I booked, and then they're like, oh, girlfriends have to pay to get in. I'm like, I'm in the band. Like, you see this? Like, this is the first thing you see when you look up the band. Like, it's really weird.
It's not even like the 50s anymore. I mean, which is fucking like the 20 something, and they're still saying that shit to you.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like it's stereotypes or assumptions that because you have a vagina, like you don't play rock and roll. You're not as hard as the guys. You can't scream like them. All this stuff, and I feel like that's what I've always been like. Oh, they can do it. I'm going to do it better just to prove a point. You know what I mean? Right.
I remember whenever it was that you guys were recording there and I went there. I can't even remember what I went there for, but I went inside to do something and Frenchie was working on you guys were sitting outside and Frenchie was playing something from your record. I can't remember what song it was. It was a while back, but I just remember going like, oh, yeah, like, is that part of what pushes you, Lauren? I mean, what pushes you? Because there's almost like an Iggy Pop rawness to what you do. You know what I mean?
I think spite has gotten me where I am today. Like proving like people wrong, and whether that be like from stereotypes or like family members thinking I could never do this. Or or even just to do it for like I know like girls go to my shows and like they see me and they're like, well, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I want people to feel that. Like I know so many women that play music now more than I did like 3 or 4 years ago when I started doing this here. And I know because they've seen me and whatever little impact I have, like that's rewarding,
Right. Yeah, totally, man. Are you friends with I'm drawing a blank on her last name, but Audrey from Pleasure Venom? Yeah.
Yeah, me and her are pretty good friends. We always are like messaging each other about things because I feel like it's hard to relate to a lot of people when you don't have the same like struggles, whereas we both are doing kind of the same thing, playing in a band, working our asses off, so when I have a really like an issue, I definitely reach out to her a lot.
Right, but it's not like you're I mean, there are a significant amount of women out there making music, right? And and they're relegated to a more ladylike. You know what I mean?
I don't think that being ladylike has ever suited either one of us.
Right. But it comes from a long line of like great people. Like to me, Chrissie Hynde is a person who is just a person in rock, not like a. But there's I guess what I'm trying to say is there's like a you guys know what the Lilith Fair was?
No.
It was like these lady singer-songwriters in the 90s had a festival.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome, but there's something different about the world of pop and the world of like singer-songwritery, or the world of I'm not really that familiar with the world of country and how it works, but in the world of rock, it is a fucking boys club. There's like, you know what I mean? You talk about your dicks, you put your balls into it. You know what I mean? Like, sorry to be so offensive, but I feel like I can talk to you guys like rock and roll people.
You're great.
Yeah, thank you. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's like, to me, there's like an exclusive club. I wish it wasn't an exclusive club. I wish it was as normal. I wish you didn't have to say like, oh, look at Audrey and look at Lauren. Like, you're special for what you do, but not because you're a female in a rock band. Anyway. Yeah,
I've always felt like that. Like, I don't want to be, a great, like, front person because I'm hot and I have tits. I've always just wanted to be respected for being a great singer or, like, musician or, I think that's what it comes down to, looking at people like that. Like, they're just musicians.
Right. And so those forces working against you in Baltimore that you were talking about, did you guys feel like you had to get out of there and go to a new place to get your groove on?
Yeah, I mean, like, Baltimore has no musical opportunity, to be honest with you. Like, all of the bands that got big out of Baltimore, like, the last couple of years, they've all done the same thing and got the fuck out of there. They would go on tour and go play other places because the only scene in Baltimore is like the art kids, and like in order to get into that scene, you have to know them, and then you have to drive across the state to get to a different show to play, and you have to drive back. And so it's like, if you want to get big, you got to fucking leave Maryland. There's no music industry there. You're going to play at 930 Club, and that's going to be it if you're able to.
Well, let me ask you this. What in the world brought you to Austin?
Well, I mean,
music. It was the music capital of the world. We're like, well, you can't go wrong with that. And it's got cactuses. I mean,
yeah, that was Lauren's thing, is cactuses and armadillos. Our other thing was like St. Ed's is a kick-ass school too, so we also went to St. Ed's to go.
Oh, okay. So you went to college there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was college and music.
Okay. What did you guys study in school? What did you study, Josh?
I did psych.
I was a business administration and digital media management.
And?
But social worker.
What's that?
But now I'm a social worker.
In what what world of social work? Like?
Oh, I work at the Arch downtown, like the homeless shelter. Mm-hmm. Business did not fit me. I wasn't going to conform to looking a certain way. And I felt like, I don't know, like working at a shelter is cool because I can look however I want. And I just talk to them. I mean, like to people, like a person, I don't have to act like a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah. You must, I mean, that's not an easy job to have, to experience people at a place in their life that they don't really want to be. Right.
Yeah.
How does that affect you as a person, like on a day-to-day basis?
So, I mean, sometimes it's rough I feel like I like the stories though. Like I learn these stories that come with, and when I'm writing music or something, like they're pain, like you can feel it and you take it and make something with it too, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's not just mine anymore.
I've never worked there, but I've done these. A friend of mine puts together these shows on Fridays at that soup kitchen across the street. And I've gone there and played, and just even that is a pretty heavy experience, like talking to people afterwards, you know? Like, it's just heavy. It's very heavy. They're very grateful for you giving your time and your energy and stuff, which is what I noticed that I didn't really expect. And I was pretty overwhelmed. Obviously I don't deal with it on a day-to-day basis. I've done it a couple times. Both times when I've gotten in the car, I've just broken down. It's so fucking heavy, you know?
I think it's important, you know, to like separate yourself after work, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's better than working some service industry, like serving people that are ungrateful, you know? Like, I like to
Exactly.
be able to it matters every day.
Waiting on asshole frat boys from waiting on
Yeah.
their drinks. What about you, Josh? What's your day-to-day jam?
So technically I have two jobs. My first job is I do child therapy for children with special needs and behavioral issues. And then my second job is working at a grocery store, which sucks. Right now I can't do my first job with working with children because of COVID.
Right.
Because one, I can't not do both jobs, and I don't want to expose children to COVID because
Right.
one, I'd feel awful, and two, like I don't also want to lose my job because it's like I don't want to keep giving clients like. Okay, so like you can see it like up to 3 to 4 clients a day, and I don't want to like catch every client with COVID. Essentially, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't wear, but like I don't want to risk giving multiple families COVID
Right.
because I'd be a spreader because of it.
Right.
So it's like morals, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Austin was the live music capital of the world. You came here, moved. What did you record? Nice here?
Yeah, we recorded everything here.
Okay.
TTDDCC was the first one.
Right.
And then we did. But yeah, and then the Frenchie one with the Big Wish.
Well, I have to say that the Frenchie one, there's you've stepped into a fidelity that I don't think you were experiencing before. Nothing against the people that worked on your stuff before, but it seems like all of a sudden it's like this. I don't want to use Metallica as a reference, but you know what I mean? Like at one point Metallica had these records and you're like, fuck yeah, I get the energy, I'm getting the feeling. And then all of a sudden they put out this one record and you're like, wow, this sounds fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like sonically it's covering all the bases. The drums have a real distinct character to their sound and everything really, I don't know, man. I love it. And I'm a huge fan. I mean, not just being friends with Frenchie. If I didn't know him at all, I would be a huge fan of his work. You know, his records have an energy and an appeal to what I like to listen to. You know what I mean?
They're like impactful. It's crazy because we like found out after we were like, oh, Frenchie, that like he had recorded some of our favorite records, you know, too.
What were those?
I know like American Football.
Yeah.
The Dandy Warhols, which I love the Dandy Warhols.
Yeah.
Hey, did you say American football?
Oh no, yeah, it's no,
Front
it's
Bottoms,
Front
bro.
Bottoms.
Front
I'm such an
Bottoms.
idiot.
Wait, what band?
The
The Front Bottoms.
I think I know the Front Bottoms. I mean, I agreed with you because he does so many
The
records. I don't
Italian-
know if I fucking heard them all. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, who did you do the single Head Spent with?
Our friend Terme Saba, she's just like she recently got out of with the recording school.
Oh, cool, man.
Recorded it there.
Yeah, she's a kick-ass she's a kick-ass audio tech. She's really good at recording. And her and Frenchie are kind of like becoming friends, which is really cool. I was like, Frenchie, check her out. I was like, Terame, check him out. And I think she might, don't quote me on it, I think she might do internship there, I hope.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, that's another thing that's missing in music is the technical side of things. A lot of times women aren't raised to be pushed in that direction, or at least, weren't before. And there's
you don't,
it is a boys club, man.
Yeah, you don't hear about many audio techs at all. Like, the first one that comes to my mind is, I don't know her name. She's married to Elton John. She was like one of his sound engineers, and then bam, they put out a record, they fall in love, they get married. It's a really weird marriage, but it works.
Oh, is that the lady he was married to in the 80s?
Yeah. I wouldn't say the marriage works. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is sound engineer.
Well, Prince is like his biggest records were done with a lady at the helm. Engineering, Susan Rogers, a great hero of mine.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
It's really weird when you think about it, because like women are able to hear different frequencies at a better rate, and also be able to notice tiny thresholds of changes a lot easier than men are. So it's kind of like, why is this industry like really?
Well, because. I have this conversation with people a lot, and I have a brother and sister, a half brother and sister, that are a lot younger than me. Okay, and I remember when my brother was like the Christmas that my brother was 3 and my sister was 5, and my stepmom got them custom sweatshirts with this stuff written on them. She was very excited about it. So excited. And when they opened up their shirts at Christmas and they put them on, my brother said, "Future President," and my sister said, "Future Miss America." And I never forgot that. I was like maybe 16 or something. And I just remember looking at that and going like, oh, this is how it starts. You know what I mean? Like, this is where people don't buy their daughters like Tinker Toys to start building shit. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that. I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't excel in these, that's why these places are empty, because, they don't grow up learning this stuff. So by the time they're exposed to it and they're already in their teens or something, that kind of technology, like it is to me, like I don't understand electrical engineering. I take my fucking amp into a dude and he starts talking to me, it's like explaining a card trick to a dog. I'm like, I have no fucking idea anything you say. So I think that ends up happening. You become overwhelmed and sort of intimidated by the technology because it hasn't been ingrained in you since you were a kid, Okay, back to Headspent. The video is fucking incredible. And at the end of it, there's like the song's only 2 minutes long, but there's a long time where you show all the names of the people that were killed by police, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not by police. Like they were racially charged crimes. Yeah. I would call them crimes, because killing anybody for any awful reason that these poor people had to endure, I would say is definitely a crime.
Whose idea was that video? Like, was there a director that came up with it, or was that you guys?
The band came up with it. We had a different premise, and then COVID ruined it. And so we were like, and then it didn't feel right with like, all of the protests going on. So we like looked at each other like, well, why don't we do something about this video that matters?
Yeah, because it's like going from this wacky, we're gonna have like a fun little like kind of thing for the video, and then we have a lot of friends who went downtown and are like peacefully protesting, and next thing you know, APD's just fucking opening firing on people.
Right.
And then you also see like what happened to George Floyd, and you're like, dude, this is fucked up. And then people start bringing out more names, and you keep watching more videos. You keep seeing the police shooting peaceful protesters, and it just like it makes you pissed off. I remember for that entire week, whenever I'd see a cop car, it was just like seeing videos of the police do awful shit to people.
Yeah.
Like people, the cops are supposed to protect you, not fucking murder you in the street or shoot you when you're on the ground and shit like that. And so it's just like, you have all four of us there. Joe's already been down to the protest. We got friends who got shot. We got the director who's sitting right next to us. And we're all kind of just like, dude, we cannot ethically make a funny haha video when this song is kind of about what's going on right now. It's about being pissed off at the police. It's about being held back because of like systematic shit. And then it's like, if we didn't make that video, it'd almost be injustice, essentially, to not make a video about what's going on right now, like an injustice to the song itself.
Yeah.
So it didn't really hit until we like got into the recording area, well, the video recording area, where we're seeing like everything projected on the big screen, and then we have the models who we've become friends with up there doing poses and like doing stances, and you're like, damn, dude, this song has a lot more meaning now. And it's not like we didn't try to profitize off the video, we didn't try to profitize off the song, we didn't want to put the song on the album because the song itself was supposed to stand alone and have more like a meaning to it. So it's like we get a lot of positive reviews for it, and then we have people saying that we're trying to market off Black Lives Matter. We're trying to market off what happened to these individuals. And it's just like, you expect people to think that. You expect people to make that accusation. And it's kind of like, you can't do one thing that's not going to piss at least one person off. If you make 1,000 people happy, you're going to make at least one person unhappy.
Right. We live in a culture of like general outrage. And so people have found a place, especially with social media, where they can express their outrage with themselves, right? And seeing themselves in horrible people, right? And then trying to get rid of them. Like, oh, we got it. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it, as like, you know, it's turned into this very ugly sort of like, you're damned if you do, or you're damned if you don't. If you put out the fucking funny video, there would have been a bunch of people going like, who do they think they are in the middle of this heavy ass time? Why didn't they take the time to like really try and say something with this video? I think what you guys did was incredible. And now that I've gotten to talk to you a bit, I understand that it comes from an extremely genuine place, because you guys are both people that have given your life, you know, to help others.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's also kind of my goal for like, if we ever do like really pick up and start making a lot of money, like what I've always wanted to do since the beginning of college is like be able to create programs for inner city kids back in Baltimore to be able to have like opportunities of self-expression and stuff, and like gateways to not, when they go home, have to think about the awful scenario that they're in. Because like I remember in first grade, there was one kid who hated getting homework for the sole fact of when he would go home, none of his parents would be home, and he wouldn't know how to do the homework, and he never had homework help. And I remember me and this kid never got along until like that moment, and like it made me like realize it's like, that's why this kid's so angry, that's why this kid's so mean, is because like he's never been able to have like an outlet of expression or an outlet of like somebody to talk to him about stuff. Like, so give him the opportunity to make artwork that's really like emotionally or impactful. Right. People want the ability to like listen to his story, like talk to him about it, or he'll be able to talk about it and mitigate it a little bit better. So It's like, I think making an impact and being able to help people is one of my main goals of music, and not just like profitizing off of it and stuff like that, because it's not what it's for, you know.
It's also, we live in a culture where it's really hard to profitize off of it now.
Yeah.
I'm just mad I'll never have the Black Sabbath cocaine budget.
You know, Einar and I learned we were signed to this label that was owned by Lars Ulrich, and there was a point where the guy from the label said to us, like, guys being able to hook up with weed and stuff on the road. We weren't like a blow band or anything, but we did smoke our fair share of weed. And we said, yeah, he's like, how are you paying for your weed? And we were like, oh, out of our per diems. And we were getting like $20 a day. And I mean, you know, it took like a few days of not eating to, you know, to get that grass. And so then he explained to us, the way that you do it is when you have a record label and you have a touring budget, then like in the Rolling Stones world, when this guy worked for the Rolling Stones as like a tour accountant, he to write off the drugs and have the label pay for it, you get extra receipts. Like when you take a cab and they give you a receipt for it, you go like, hey, can I give you $10 for like a little booklet of receipts? And so then you buy the weed and then you just make receipts that add up to the amount of the money you spent on weed. I'm pretty sure that's the Black Sabbath cocaine budget, how that worked as well.
I've learned so much today. I'm going to be able to use in my future.
Yeah.
Really, thank you. For
If we do that, that's fraud. We're going to go to jail. Record label company is going to send out a hitman and kill every single one of us and take our receipts.
You got to look out, man.
Exactly.
So you have this record dropping in March, on March 27th. What are you doing to celebrate that release? In what way, what form will people get to see you? Is it going to be on a screen? Is it?
It'll be at Empire. They have like their garage they have open. We'll be playing with Ringo Death Star.
Yeah.
And Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol.
Will that be on the 27th?
Yeah, exactly. There'll be tickets and merch and everything.
I haven't been there to see a show since the pandemic, but I've seen the layout of it. I had a couple of people on the show, like Nane, I think, did their record release show there, and I went online and looked at it, and it seems like it's a pretty responsible layout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a lot of like cautionary stuff. I mean, when I was like inquiring about booking there, they sent me like 10 pages of how they're doing like their COVID guidelines. So. And it's like, you have to buy tables together. So it's a really well set up, and I feel safe there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys done any other shows during this time or?
Yeah, we've honestly, the only shows that we've done like to audiences that are not just like live stream have all been done at Far Out Lounge because it's all outside. So
yeah.
It's like, it's at a table as it's COVID safe. So, and there's a lot of people that usually go to it safely.
Yeah. So. Not to be all me and Einar about everything, but we went to a show there. It did feel safe there. It was weird being out though. It just is. Yeah, it's just fucking weird, man.
Dude, I like trip out whenever I watch a movie and it's like people together in the movie. I'm like, this is giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it's like people are wearing masks. They're right next to each other. They're sharing drinks. And it's like, Jesus, dude, one entire fucking year of having this mentality. And it's just like, what is this going to do for the rest of us? Because it's like you look at like the Spanish flu and you look at what happened directly after the fucking Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
That happened to our generation.
Well, I'm going to start dressing like a flapper in about 3 months. Forsake My Name, the single that's out now, it's fantastic. Also, the Head Spent, people should check out that video. What is Descent Records?
It's an indie label in Austin. It was created by Jeff Grounds. He is the owner and manager of it. right now we're the only band on the label, and I don't know he's going to be looking to sign more people. He's just kind of trying to get all of our stuff kind of moved in the future, and like get this album released, get us on tour, hopefully in October. And I do the event coordinating for the label, and so that's kind of nice too. I get to like make the big events for Descent. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to know about it?
No, that's just really cool. I hadn't heard of it, and I was like, I didn't know sometimes people have their own label and call it something, and sometimes there's a label like you just explained.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
It's cool. He just started it like a year ago, but he's worked for like other labels and stuff in the past.
Yeah. I think your band's fucking great. And I think, how do you write these songs? How do you write them together? You.
So usually it happened with me, like, Lauren will almost always have, she has like a lyric book. So she almost always has like random lyrics throughout the book about random things, random different songs she's already made with the lyrics. And then what I'll do is I'll get bored, start playing my guitar, come up with a riff I really like. And sometimes I'll come up with a riff with an idea with some lyrics, and I'll show it to her, I'll show it to the rest of the band, and then bam, we got to do something.
Yeah, we kind of collaborate and just kind of shove it together, work on it together.
That's cool. I love that you guys too have had that are you guys just bandmates? I'm sorry I have to ask this, but I have to just for my own sanity.
Yeah, I hate her.
Yeah, we absolutely.
Anything more, I probably would have murdered her by now.
No, I think it's cool. So it's a very sibling-like relationship. I get that vibe. But sometimes people that are married, and have a band together, when they're in the setting talking about their band, they go into like sibling mode.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, me and Josh have been like best friends for years.
I hate her.
It's killer,
yeah,
man.
it's all pure hate.
I think
Even call her a friend, I would just call her like an acquaintance that I kind of like work with. Like, oh, we have a show, all right, and I'll just not look at you the entire show, kind of thing. It just works best.
It's abuse,
honestly.
Yeah. Well, guys, congratulations on this record. The single, people can go hear it now, Forsake My Name, and check out the video for Headspent. You have a link tree that I'll put in the text of the body of the podcast that people can go to and just kind of like get connected, because you guys do have some records that have come out for the last few years. Since you've been in Austin, you've been incredibly prolific, and you're really nice and good people. I've enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you, and you also kick ass. Yeah, as a rock band. Yeah, so congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Don't let anyone know I'm a nice person.
She's awful. I hate her. Again, I hate this person. You say blink twice if I'm in peril. I'm going to blink more than twice. I'm just going to keep going like this.
Wait, really quick before we go, did Frenchie give you any quotes that were memorable that you say to each other now and laugh?
I don't know. Not yet.
I remember a lot of quotes from when we were recording.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like in the middle of it, he'll say something.
Pocket.
Yeah.
In the pocket. You would say that a lot.
Yeah.
Like pocket guitar playing a lot.
There was a lot of them. My brain is smushed, but he's quite a character.
There's like bitching a lot. I like that.
Oh yeah, bitching.
Oh, that's bitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always knew I did a take right when I get bitching, like through the
Yeah.
Like, okay, good.
Yeah. Well, you're a fucking great singer, man. I want to see you guys live.
Thank you.
I want to feel the power.
My birthday's February 16th, but we're doing a show the 20th at Far Out.
Oh, really?
You can bring
220, Far Out.
I will save you a table if you'd like.
Okay, I'll see if that can get the other dudes to go, the other old dudes.
I'll write just old man table on it.
It's funny
You can put
because
some ice on the table too if you want.
yeah, thank you, and some water.
Anytime.
I think out of the three of us, I mean, Frenchie doesn't drink at all. Einar will have a drink, but I think I'm the only still yeah, like the guy. So yeah,
You guys are like the Three Musketeers or something. Like, sounds like.
well, we're friends, man. You know, we've been around this shit for a long time, but it's always great. I mean, all of us obviously were inspired by hearing you and your music, and that's very exciting. It's always exciting to know that there's people still making rock and roll that are a lot younger than us. You know, well, it gets scary, man. You know.
You think it's gonna die with a generation or something? You know.
You fucking see those bands and it's like a guy on a laptop and then a guy hitting a thing and then another guy hitting like lighted computer boxes. And
next
not
thing
that
you know,
that's not that there's anything wrong with that. That's fucking cool. But I come from a time when cool was something else. Like you let it all hang out and you fucking like it was raw. And there was no click track. You weren't on the grid. You were freestyling through life. And it was cool.
Yeah. That's still cool to me.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know. I don't know. I can't deal with the whole. I don't know. It's got to be real.
Right. And I don't, once again, I have nothing against the grid for people that want to be on it. I want to be in a different zone. I enjoy that stuff. And there's stuff I dig, you know, but the thing that gets me going is like a rock and roll band that everything could fall apart at any second. And it's all just fucking, like, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you're like in too many drinks deep.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for doing the show. I really appreciate you doing it. And I look forward to meeting you again. Hopefully not just walking by saying, oh, hi. Hi, rockers. Hi, rockers on a porch swing.
Oh, yeah, and Josh was like accidentally ignoring you.
Dude, I was so fucking hungry, dude. I was like in my own world, like trying to find some food to eat, dude. So I apologize for that.
Hey, man, I never hold anything like that against anyone.
Frenchie was making fun of me for it. It's like, oh, man, you just blew him off, dude. It was like you weren't even giving him an even the world. You were just in your own little thing, doing your own thing. I was bitching. I was like,
Yeah.
French, yeah, no idea. I was just hungry, dude.
Well, man, thank you so much for doing the show. And I'll put links to all your stuff in the text of this podcast. I'll let you guys know when this goes up. But thanks again for doing the show. It was good talking to you guys. Stay in touch.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. All right, the Dead Coats, their single Forsake My Name, available now, and their album Big Wish dropping March 27th, produced by my dear friend Frenchie Smith on Descent Records. Go to thedeadcoats.bandcamp.com to purchase their music and to check it out. And also, it has links to their socials there. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Hey, gang, have you thought that maybe you can follow us on Facebook? And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Johnny Gowdy on both of those. Facebook, how did I get here? Join our page. See pictures of people. See what we're saying. Sometimes I put videos up. Who knows what's going on? Sometimes I do a live stream talking to people. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Overcast, any of the places, Stitcher, any of the places, man. We got new shows all the time. 3 shows a week in March. That's what we're doing. All right, I want to thank the Dead Coats for coming by. Listen to the rest of this great song, Forsake My Name. Go buy it at Bandcamp and do what you can. Have a great weekend, or a great week, whatever it is you're doing. Let's get down.